But there are so many different ways that real estate agents can automate in their business to save time, but still like have that personal touch. Because I feel like a lot of times when people think that they want to automate something, they think, oh, because it's not coming from me and I'm the team leader or I'm the broker owner, it should come from me, that therefore it's going to lose value. It's those mini tasks that for you maybe take 2 minutes that you don't even think about that compile and compound day over day, week over week, month over month. As a real estate agent, to think about, to like stop and truly think, what am I clicking right now that doesn't have to be me clicking? You know, it can be automated.
From your perspective, what you've seen, what do you think are the biggest opportunities that people are overlooking?
Manual work is the thing that drives me the most crazy, because we've been able to get rid of that for 10 years. Repetitive stuff is what really kills me. If I see someone typing in the same information in 10 places, don't do that. Find a better way of doing that, especially if you're doing it 100 times a day.
Welcome back to another episode of The Agent Goldmine, where we help real estate agents grow their business with actionable and tactical tips. My name is Ali Garced. My co-host name is Shelby Johnson. We are Ali the Agent, spelled A-L-I, on the gram, as well as The Shelby Show, common spelling. Our goal is to help you increase your business and save time. Both Shelby and I are in the top 1.5% of all of eXp Realty agents, which as of right now in the entire brokerage, we have 89,000 agents. Today's podcast topic is on automations and AI agents. So many agents are doing such monotonous work that do not require brain power, or they're paying a virtual assistant or a human to do this work when instead it can be automated, saving you time, saving your VA time. So that way you and your VA can focus on more brain-powered activities that actually move the needle. We jump right into automations in this episode, and we are interviewing a genius by the name of Andres Quesada. He is a licensed agent with eXp Realty. He helps top teams scale with automation without having to hire more humans. And he is the head of automation strategy at eXp. So he also tells us what he's working on behind the scenes to make eXp continue being the leading brokerage with technology and AI. He's built custom GPTs to make other people's jobs easier. He's a 2x UiPath MVP. We cover a little bit of that in this episode. This is not the most beginner podcast when it comes to AI and automation. Save this episode for the future. Share it with a friend who may be able to help you with automations, or a friend that needs automations in their life. Hope you enjoy. Andres Quesada, thank you so much for jumping on today's episode. Today's episode is going to be all about automations, saving time for real estate agents. Thank you for jumping on. Can you tell us a little bit about your background for those that don't know who you are?
Yeah, so I started in real estate the day I turned 18. I went to go get my Florida real estate license, actually, and I was an agent all the way through college. I studied computer science in college, and then when I graduated, I kind of left real estate behind and moved into business process automation career, and that's what I've been doing for the past 6 years. I've worked in all sorts of industries, from rail car manufacturing to medical devices manufacturing to financial institutions to now EXP, just focusing on like automating back office processes and just making things more efficient generally.
I recently came across automating stuff because of pain points that I was having in my business, specifically related to onboarding. But there are like so many different ways that real estate agents can automate in their business to save time, but still like have that personal touch. Because I feel like a lot of times when people think that they want to automate something, they think, oh, because it's not coming from me and I'm the team leader or I'm the broker owner, it should come from me, that therefore it's going to lose value. When I think the opposite. You can service even more real estate agents. Um, can Let's talk about different platforms, websites that real estate agents can start automating some of their processes on. The three that I know of are Make, Make, Zapier, and N8N. Is there anything else or is there anything that you would like to elaborate on those three, or any other websites or platforms that I haven't mentioned?
So I think N8N is the most heady one, let's call it. It's the most complicated one. Also, it's still relatively simple on the surface. Like I think anyone can use it, but it's the most powerful one, which also leans into some complexity to get like the full juice out of it. Zapier is awesome. It's a little bit more simplified. Everything kind of just works out of the box. But I would say it's a slightly less powerful than an 8N. Some other platforms that I can think of are maybe this one that we love using at EXP called Lovable. It's this website maker where you just talk to the website and you tell it what sort of website you would like. And not only does it spin up a website for you, sort of, a la Wix, a la Squarespace, or whatever, um, but the cool thing is it gives you full access to the source code of the website that it creates for you. So it's more like hiring a software engineering team to make you a website and then handing you over ownership of all of the code that makes the website. And you can do crazy stuff with it. It integrates with this thing called Supabase, which is I don't even know how to. It's like a super simple way of having a backend. So a backend is all the data that your website usually works with and all of your user accounts and all of that. So you can make something that has user accounts. If you want to make like a learning platform for, agents under you or something, you could tell it, hey, I want to make an agent platform where I have courses for agents. Uh, and I want everyone to have their own login and I want them to pay me $15 to be able to log in. And you could totally spin that up in an afternoon.
Okay, for those who don't know at all what Make or NAN, I know Ali, you're into this. I think it's good that I'm not, because I'm going to bring it back down to the average listener right now. What are you guys talking about? Are these things to create like websites? Is that the goal of this AI technology? Is like create more websites? I'm from the average agent perspective or broker owner. Why do I care? What does this do for me?
So the N8Ns, the Zapiers, they are not about making websites. They are about bringing different systems together. So if you have your CRM, you have a different platform that you use to reach out to people, and you just want to move data across them or trigger things automatically, um, that's what you want. So Zapier will have a lot of connections where you just drop a little box, and it's like, oh, this will let you sign into your email. So you drop the email box, let's say, and then you tell it, hey, for every email that comes into this folder or whatever, I actually want to, I don't know, add a contact on HubSpot or something. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever system A you can think of, whatever website platform that you use. A doesn't really talk to B too friendly. Zapier and Aiden, they sit in the middle and they make them talk to each other automatically on triggers. You define the logic of when you want things to happen and what you want to happen.
I I think we had Shelby, did we ever have Charlie Cameron on this podcast?
I don't know if it was on this one. So I do know that our listeners who have been around for a long time are familiar with Zapier, whichever. But I did not know that N8N was another version of that. So that's good to know. It's the when you want different systems to talk to each other and you don't want to have to be the one to transfer or add the contact manually, etc. Those two systems are great for connecting them. I think okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
And it's those mini tasks that for you maybe take 2 minutes that you don't even think about that like compile and compound day over day, week over week, month over month. Um, like, so as a real estate agent to think about, to like stop and truly think, what am I clicking right now that doesn't have to be me clicking? It can be automated. For example, one thing that Charlie did for my buyer and seller clients, whenever somebody booked a call on my Calendly, because I use the app called Calendly, I wanted to connect to the CRM that I was using at the time, which was KV Core. At the time, I had been just copying and pasting the Calendly responses, adding it into KV Core as a new contact, like whoop de doo. It was almost like a dopamine hit, like woohoo, another potential client. So like I didn't mind it, and then over time I was like, okay, this is why am I doing this? Yeah, repetitive over and over again. So Charlie helped me out, and he did his magic. I don't know how he did it. He did it on Zapier. So that way, any single person that booked a call with me, either I'm a buyer or I'm a seller client, the answers were copied and pasted over to KV Core as a new contact with their email, their phone number, their name. So that was like my first Zap or like automation that I had in my business, and I've had it for like years now. The second one that I'm working on right now, which also can help a lot of agents listening to this, is for onboarding. So team leaders, broker owners, onboarding was my next thing where I was actually paying a virtual assistant to do something that was just so mundane. It took no brain work. So for example, anybody that joined our community at EXP, it was and then my assistant that added their name and email and contact and gave them access to everything of what we offer in the Google Drive and school when I had a school and like all this stuff. Um, and the welcome email, and here's my private YouTube playlist. And it's like all like check boxes to check of like 1 through 7 that didn't have to be a person. Um, so I actually have up, I don't know if this would help, Andres, my make, which is where I ended up um, hiring a company to help me out instead of Zapier. I did make. I don't know why.
Mm.
I think it looks cuter.
So
It's
they're
like,
all more or less the same thing. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
actually don't have too much experience with Make, but I know it's the same thing as Zapier. And there's a million of these. I just really like N8N. That's the only reason I even mention it because it has some really cool features that we'll get into later, I'm sure.
yeah. When I was YouTubing N8N, just like YouTube tutorial, basic tutorial, N8N for beginners, I was lost. I was like, okay, I'm sticking with make then. These words that they're saying don't even make sense. But I think it might help the viewers, like team leaders, broker owners, for me to share my screen. And Andres, I would love for you to pick at it and see what maybe is missing or what ideas come to mind. On Make, I have starting from the Google Sheets. So I paid a company to do this. I tried doing it on my own, and I even had ChatGPT. Like I was texting ChatGPT photos like, "Hey, it's not working. What is the missing link?" And I couldn't get it. So I paid a company $1,600 to do this. Yeah. So first step is I have a Google Sheet that has everyone, or that will have as people on board and join our community. I have their name, first name, last name, phone number, email, and for them to then get access to everything. Um, So that's what this Google Sheet here is. And then it goes to like the router, I guess, pushes to two separate things. So yeah, I googled how to automatically send text messages but send them in blue instead of like the green where it's like Android, because I wanted it to be another level of like personal touch. So there's an app that I found in my research called Pushover. I think it's a mild cost since I paid for it. And so I added Pushover, I created an account, and so at the same time, as soon as somebody adds a name and number to the Google Sheet, they will automatically get the welcome text in blue. And the other thing is they're going to automatically be added to my Google Drive, which is where I have all of my giveaways, buyer checklist, seller checklist, all that stuff. Um, Followed by a welcome email. And the email is like the beefiest part. That's like reminder of the links, all of our trainings, who is in your EXP community, who can you reach out to for help, stuff like that. So this like what I thought was a somewhat complicated process, by putting this on Make, it's just these 5 different colors. I'm like, wait, it's not all that complicated.
No,
um,
and it just
so
happens when you add a sheet. Yeah, absolutely. A row on
yeah,
your sheet. It's cool about the pushover service. I didn't know you could send blue text automatically. I feel a little discriminated against as an Android user, but I understand. I've been bullied my whole life.
Allie, have
There's
yeah.
you used that? Does it work?
It Well, I connected it, and so I haven't used it yet. So this is still the company that I hired should be done within the next couple of days. They're still on the back end working everything out and testing it. But it should all the Google reviews and like all the reviews rather that I've read pushover works.
It could be a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Sorry, go on.
Um and Andres, myself, like I would love to go to an Android phone because they just do so much. But yeah, it's
I mean,
just that blue.
I just love that they fold open.
That's
This
the
is
one that I want.
it's awesome.
Yes.
I love the foldable phones.
Oh man, that's so cool. So you know what, Andres, I don't even know where to click to oh, I guess I could just click it. Um what overall, as far as onboarding goes, do you see before I click into anything here, is there anything that points out like shouts at you with your wizard
Yeah,
brain?
the first thing, why are you typing it manually into Google Sheets?
Oh, okay. Thank you for the question. I don't know any other way to do it. I've researched it and I don't know.
Well, I mean, the
Um,
answer greatly depends on like where you're getting the information that you're typing in into Google Sheets. So it's like what's you got to think about sources of information and destinations of information. So somewhere someone told you, "Hey, I should write this sheet on the Google Sheet." And that somewhere some like that place is what you need to integrate that goes then into this, you know? So in the end, I mean, it's good to build them modularly like this. Like you could leave it like this, but then you could maybe make another make or another Zap or another N8N that is responsible of going to a lot of different places and writing to your Google Sheet, right? And then this one would kick off after that one that reads from all of these different places is just dropping stuff in there so you can make it even more automatic.
okay. I remember why I did this. It was because I couldn't and the company that I spoke to, we couldn't figure out a way to get the information from those that join me. So on my.exprealty.com, that's where you can like see the dashboard. I couldn't figure out a way to connect the organization there. There's like a tile that says new agents. Um, I didn't know how to connect that because it's like I don't know if there's like I don't know, like a firewall or some sort of like extra password that you need to get in there. It wasn't as simple as like just a dashboard. Do you know if there's a way to connect that?
I do. Okay, so this is my EXP, the like personal EXP dashboard that we provide for you guys.
Yes, exactly.
So as far as I know, I mean, for these things to all work, everything that's going on with these little bubbles, it's called API calls, application programming interfaces. It's a fancy way of saying if you write a little piece of code, this is the way that your code needs to ask for information on our platform. It's like a door, basically, for code. I don't know how to say that. So that little bubble that you have for Google Sheets is a little snippet of code, and then Google makes available some documentation that some developer read at some point that says, "Hey, if you give me," and if you click on there, you'll see it, like the identifier of the sheet and what you're looking for, and if you give it to me in this format, I will return to your program what you're looking for, right? So this is being driven by this thing called an API. As far as I know, my EXP does not have an API. So you wouldn't be able to access it via a regular old piece of code. So whenever I run into that problem, which is very often, you'd be surprised how many platforms don't want you to access their data programmatically or like, just don't have it. Um, I do this thing called RPA, which is a little bit more complicated, but does the trick. It's basically a screen robot. So it's a program that finds things on your screen and clicks them. So like for example, when you go to my EXP, you click on the email, you type it in, you click on the password, you type it in, you click next. It might ask you for a one-time password code. That there's ways of getting it. So you get it, you type that in, and then you click to recent joins or whatever it might be, and then it reads the information on your screen, and then it can put it on your Google Sheet. But this is a little bit more complicated to be able to work with these platforms. There is one that I is near and dear to my heart. It's called UiPath. Um, that's actually it's the main tool that I've worked with most of my career. They are like an all-in-one automation solution platform. The only problem is that they're more geared towards enterprises than individuals. It's a little expensive, I find, for like small to medium-sized businesses to acquire this. Though they have a community version, technically you're only supposed to use that for like personal things, and like your personal real estate business is a little bit, I don't know. You could do it. You could technically you shouldn't, but it's an awesome tool. And yeah, I have to shout it out. It's a tool specifically to do this, and they have this thing called Studio Web, where you don't have to install anything on your computer, and as long as the clicks you're automating are on a browser, which for my EXP they are, you could get it done just all on the browser. So it's like a browser software that lets you do clicks on different websites. Yeah, the
Wow.
possibilities are literally endless. You can give me anything, I'll automate it. Just got to give me enough time.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so in this case, is it possible for me to do the UiPath in the beginning, and then add on to this?
It wouldn't be so, yeah, it just wouldn't be on Make. It would be on
Mhm.
UiPath. UiPath would go do the clicks, do whatever, and then from UiPath it would end with this little Google Sheets node.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Does as we're adding on separate, platforms, I don't know the correct word, w is there a um, at what point would it be too many to where, like, if one went wrong, then, it's like the trickle effect where the domino effect where everything else, it just doesn't work?
Yeah, healing robots is something I've I've spent a lot of time on for sure. As the complexity increases, yeah, so does the propensity for something to go wrong for sure. And especially when you're branching out into different platforms, then you got to be looking in different places to find where something might have gone wrong. Someone joins and then they don't get a welcome email. Now you got to go look at three different places to find out which is the one that broke. That's why, like, I recommend just finding the one of everything that you like best. So in UiPath, you have this as well. They're called API workflows. In N8N, you have this as well. So yeah, that's the nice thing about UiPath is that you have everything. It's like a fully fledged RPA suite. You have these API workflows. You have this crazy like document parsing software where you can give it like any type of document, and if you want to, like, I can give it my driver's license, and it'll easily, just give me the little pieces of information out of it, like a picture of my driver's license. I mean, what else does it have? It has now AI agents, which we haven't even mentioned yet in this chat, but is like the future of automation. Um, that's the nice thing about UiPath is it's all in one place, and if something goes wrong, all your notifications are in the same spot to go check. But for example, I think N8N is a way better API integration maker than UiPath. But you know, it's yeah, UiPath is the only one with RPA, and N8N doesn't have RPA.
So, and then to further clarify, you do this stuff on the back end for EXP, right? For real estate agents, either with EXP or not, what is the best way for those that don't want to learn how to do this on their own? Because it's a lot, it's a big learning curve. What are there companies that you can recommend that they reach out to?
I mean, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, but like the only companies I tend to work with are like consultancy firms that again is more like enterprise geared. So, I mean, if you want to work with UiPath specifically, I'll shout out the company I got my start with called Accelerate. It's this super boutique consultancy firm that really only focuses on automation and specifically UiPath. They have really good expertise on there, and that's where I worked with like the railroad manufacturing company and all these different financial companies and medical companies and stuff. They would just put me on there on different projects. Um, and yeah, all they do is implement UiPath for a bunch of different companies all over the world. But enough. But for the for a regular real estate agent, honestly, I would not learning it at all. I wouldn't say is an option, but you can make it a lot easier for yourself by doing what you said earlier about sort of chatting with ChatGPT, or my favorite one is Claude. It's Claude.ai. I pay for like the super subscription of that one, and you just send it screenshots of what you're at. What you tell it what you want to do. You're like, hey, I have these tools. I paid for Zapier, and I want to make it do this. But look, it's giving me this error. You don't even have to read the error. Just take a picture of it, copy paste it, drop it into the chat. It'll come up with a 99% of the time, it'll solve your problem for you. Just it'll tell you where to click. Uh, Sorry, go ahead.
No, I have a question about because and you mentioned earlier, there's a ton of different things for every type of like AI solution, I feel like. And ChatGPT is just the longest standing one. Therefore, it is the one that I use and talk to every single day. But I'm always so curious because ChatGPT has let me down several times when I trust it too much. Ugh, it makes me mad. So I'm curious about why Claude, what do you like about it? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, that's an awesome question, and I'm on the same boat. ChatGPT. I use it for help on video games. Sometimes I'll be playing a video game and like I can't get past this. Like, what's going on, man? Like, what do I have to do here? And then ChatGPT is like, dude, there's a door right where you are at. Just like look to the left. And I'm like, there's a wall there. What do you mean? You're
Oh,
lying.
totally. And that's
And
what
that
pisses
it happens so
yeah.
often.
Okay, why does ChatGPT say it? Okay, I know this is a little side rant, but they just say it with such confidence. He's like, "No, no, this is the solution." And I used to use it for data. I'm doing YouTube videos and I was like researching and trusting it, and then I would go relook somewhere else and be like, "I've been lying and I had no idea and this is ultimately my fault, but also ChatGPT." Fuck you. Anyway, so please please tell me more about Claude. I'll be quiet on my rant.
So, I mean, Claude does it too. Like, I don't think any of these LLMs are free from sin. Let's say they're all a bunch of liars. But like 90% of the time, they're telling the truth. So I just find Claude tells the truth a little bit more, especially when it comes to really like technical things. ChatGPT is I find better for like I don't know, coming up with pieces of text, more like intrapersonal relationship things. I use ChatGPT when it's about like business communications, or if I want to, if I say, hey, here's all of this information about this person, I need to reach out to them to get them interested in being an agent with EXP, I'll use ChatGPT for that. But if it's something like a code question or something like that, I tend to go with Claude. And then the other thing is ChatGPT and Claude, they have all the different models, right? So with ChatGPT, when you just go on chatgpt.com and you use whatever, they just give you the model that they think is cheapest, or depends on your subscription. Maybe they'll give you a slightly fancier one. With Claude, I use the one called Opus, which is it takes like 30 seconds to respond, but it's a little bit better. So it's really like trial and error. Like you got to keep using all of them until you find the one that lies the least to you. And then about knowing when it's lying to you, it's really tough. I feel like, yeah, you got to have a little bit of background knowledge to be like, no, that doesn't add up. That can't be the
Dude,
answer.
totally. Yeah, I will call it. I'll be so angry. Like,
Yeah.
why did you yeah. It's a whole thing.
And then it
Um,
turns into a therapy session. Like, why'd you lie to me?
yes, exactly. You're just so hurt. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, earlier you mentioned something about you said AI agents and you're like, we haven't even gotten to that yet. And so that hit me, of course. That was such a good teaser. What is that? What do you mean? What's coming?
If you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At eXp, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Ali Garced, or Ali the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com.
So it's not AI real estate agents. I just want to get that out there. The nomenclature, especially in this industry, it causes problems. I've set AI agents in front of like a group of real estate agents, and everyone looked very worried. It's not that. It's not that. So AI agents, I want to say they don't have like a perfect definition. No one really like super agrees upon what it is. But in my head, AI agents are LLMs, so ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, plus tools. So it's giving, um, imagine telling ChatGPT, hey, you are in charge of a convenience store. Your tools are um, check out and check inventory or whatever. So now ChatGPT says like, okay. And then a person comes and talks to ChatGPT as like, hey, I'd like to buy this Coke, right? So then Claude ChatGPT would call the check inventory thing, be like, yeah, we have Cokes in stock. They cost $2.99. Now I'm going to call my checkout tool and I'm going to check you out for $2.99. So now ChatGPT can decide to use its tools, and agents are just let exactly that. So instead of you making these little icons on your make and having them always work in the same exact way, right? Because in that way, like the only way it works is if you add a row, then it always sends an email and it always sends a text message. But an AI agent, instead of doing that, you would tell ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, hey, you have the send email tool and you have the send text message tool and you have the read Google Sheets tool, right? So then you would tell it, you should go check Google Sheets right now, and then it would decide what to do. In this case, obviously, it should always decide to send an email and a text message, but there's other cases where like maybe it needs to onboard them into a specific tool and not another tool, give them access to like the super secret alley content, but not the regular alley content. Or maybe you want it to give it your personal phone number or something, but it'll be like, oh, this is a really super top agent. I want to get in contact with them immediately. I have the Ali phone number tool. Let me send that. So it's giving LLMs the power to do stuff. One
It
sec.
is so I'm trying to think of like different ways for real estate agents to apply this. Oh, sure. Sorry.
Sorry about that. All right, I'm back.
I was
I'm
just like
back.
looking off into space, just babbling. Um, so I'm trying to think of different ways for real estate agents to apply this, but I'm struggling. Or is what have you seen real estate agents use AI agents for?
So AI agents are so new that I've barely implemented any of them. But N8N lets you make them in like a super simple way. And I was just looking at something here on N8N's homepage. So what would a real estate agent do with it? I mean, it's really good for maybe the lead follow-up sort of thing, qualifying leads, maybe doing research on leads. You could give it like a web search tool to be able to find people. Maybe you could figure out like a LinkedIn tool to go look them up on LinkedIn. You could definitely give them tools to the rest of your onboarding equipment, like your CRM or whatever, so that they can go make contacts on your CRM for you. You could give them tools within your CRM, like to make email campaigns with them. So maybe HubSpot might have a create email campaign tool, so you might onboard them into one of your specific email campaigns, depending on whether it assesses that it's like the top agent, middle agent, bottom agent. Like someone who's just getting started, you might want to prioritize sending them information about your learning platform, versus someone who is a top agent. You might want to prioritize like a personal contact information sort of workflow for it. That's a tough question. It's technically anything an AI agent could do, you could write a program to do it. AI agents just bring this sort of like, what should I do to programs now, instead of always having to determine exactly, um, via the program, be like, if this, then that. It's more like, hey, ChatGPT, what do you think I should do in the middle of your automation?
Yeah, it's funny because as Ali is like, well, what, thinking about how we could use this. What would you use them for? My instinct was like ChatGPT. I was like, "Hey, AI agents are coming out. What are the best?" You know what I mean? Do I even think for myself anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I ask myself the same question a lot. I feel like I just go immediately to Claude or ChatGPT whenever I have a question, and then I work backwards from there.
Early on, you mentioned that you work a lot with broker owners or team leaders in automating their systems and processes. I think, unless I butchered what I remember, was that
I work with the brokers itself, so with EXP. So I help onboard teams of brokers. I don't work so much directly within teams of brokers, but I feel like the workflow can be a little similar sometimes. Like onboarding, for example, is a huge one. Onboarding, as you can imagine, if you join EXP, you get access to all of this tech, and we have to like one by one give you access to all of this tech, especially where I'm from, which is international. I mostly work on the international side of EXP, and our tech stack is more disparate because as we open up new countries, we find like the best CRM in a given country, and then that's not really integrated with our our IT tech stack. So I have to come in and be like, hey, if someone joins Peru, make sure that we give them access to the Toco broker, which is called it's the CRM we use in Peru currently. So yeah,
I was going to ask from your perspective, what you've seen, what do you think are the biggest opportunities that people are overlooking? This can be specific to the real estate agent or the team leader, whatever. Like, what drives you crazy when you see it? Because it's like, you should be fixing these things.
manual work is the thing that drives me the most crazy because we've been able to get rid of that for like 10 years. So getting all of this sort of like really repetitive stuff like, hey, this person got onboarded, I need to go type their name into 10 places now, like that, no one should have been doing that like as of 10 years ago. But nowadays if you're doing stuff with AI agents, you're at the bleeding edge. Like this stuff is not but like I'm still really learning and playing with it. Like I feel like yeah, I'm one of the few people that's most in tune with this sort of stuff, and it is just so new that it's tough to find where to implement. I mean, for example, one of the cases I'm thinking of using AI agents for within EXP is helping transactions to actually go through as best as possible without the help of a transaction specialist. So I'm going to try to make like a network of transaction specialist AI agents, basically. So the AI agent has a read offer to purchase tool basically, and then it has access to all of the information that EXP requires out of an offer to purchase, where it can kick it out and be like, hey, this isn't valid because of this, and that reason. Please review it, and it can just send an email directly back to the agent without a transaction specialist having to touch it directly. And then, if something really complicated happens, then it goes back out to a human because it'll also have a, hey, I need some help tool basically. So yeah, AI agent is all about this tools and resources sort of framework where tools, it's things it can do, and resources, it's things it can ask or things it knows.
Huh. So do you to understand this correctly, do you mean like when we go into Skyslope and we see the checklist, like the red or green or whatever, like instead of and typically or at least as of right now, we see um like the broker's name saying from Jennifer, you forgot a signature here or initials here, please. So that would be replaced by AI
At
agent.
least the first pass. Yeah, at least the
Nice.
first pass. So that, I mean, in theory, that should make agents be able to close faster,
Yeah.
which
And
is what everyone wants.
exactly, and that would say and by the way, I mean, the way that they do it now, at least in Arizona, it's every single time you upload a doc into Skyslope, it's checked within 6 hours. So, during the duty day, of course.
Mhm.
So it's like it's very fast already. So I can't imagine it being instant, like, that would be super cool, not only for obviously the agents and the clients, but the brokers. Then that opens up so much more time for the brokers to do their broker thing.
Yeah, no, like there's really complicated stuff that brokers have to focus on. And if they can spend an extra, 20 minutes talking about the legalities of this specific HOA with a crazy request or whatever, or this, client that did something illegal, it's better that they focus the time on that than checking signatures on a page for sure.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, cool. What
Yeah.
else are you working on that
Well,
you can say?
mostly integrations. This whole transactions AI agent thing is a soon to be project. Mainly, I'm working on well, for the next few weeks, I'm working on making a lot of country sites and also like a microsite builder for agents in different countries. Because we're launching a couple new countries. I'm not sure exactly which ones we've announced yet, so I'll keep that to myself. But we're still, uh, even the countries that we've already opened, some of them need a refresh on their website. So I'm kind of managing the websites a little bit right now. I got the transactions agent on the back burner, and I'm also doing a lot of integrations on the onboarding side so that if someone wants to onboard, there's a lot of payment systems that are not directly integrated into our join app yet. So I'll write a little automation that stitches them together. Meanwhile, we get like it properly integrated into our tech stack. What else am I working on? Yeah, and I'm working on a little initiative to sort of upskill um, internal people. So everybody who works at EXP is going to get an opportunity to get better at all of these different tools. I want to start a program where they come to us with like, hey, like I'm really overwhelmed. I do this all day, every day. And I'm going to be like, hey, we have N8N, we have Zapier. This sounds like a great use case for N8N. You should do it more or less in this way. And here's a free Udemy course for you where you can learn how to use this, get good at it. And if you implement it, then, like that's going to get shouted out. So I'm going to lead that initiative as well.
Oh my gosh, give me access to that Udemy. I need it.
Same. Sign me
Yeah,
up.
that sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, as we head towards wrap up, what are words of wisdom or a mindset that you wish that, listeners would embody as they think about automation AI within their business?
Don't make it so hard on yourself. Yeah, that's the that's the crux of my thinking. If I see someone really struggling doing something that I've is repetitive. Again, the repetitive stuff is what really kills me. If I see someone typing in the same information in 10 places, don't do that. Find a better way of doing that, especially if you're doing it 100 times a day. You do got a way, like it's hard to write an automation. Sometimes it takes some effort. If you're only ever going to type the same name 10 times one time, then okay, just go ahead, copy and paste it 10 times. But if you're doing this every day, all day, like help yourself. As far as using AI, yeah, just ask everything to ChatGPT. Like chat with it as much as you possibly can. It is a super helpful tool to even just get a different perspective. Watch out for it lying to you. Loves to do that. So do go in with take everything it says with a grain of salt. Definitely don't trust your life on an answer. But if it tells you something surprising, maybe look it up, verify it through a second source, and if you might find that it actually was saying something just surprising but true.
Love it. Okay, so if listeners are listening to you and they just love everything you and they want to follow your journey or ask you questions, one, do you even want that? And two, if yes, where's the best place for them to reach out?
So LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. That's I guess where I do most of my social media stuff. I don't really even use the other ones too much. And I'm pretty active in the UiPath community. If you go to the South Florida chapter for the UiPath community, I'm doing events there all the time. Again, mostly UiPath focused, but they do have a community edition that's free to use, and everybody could at least learn and get good at that stuff there. I'm usually doing a lot of like upskilling programs. I've done some like I think last year I did a few sessions. It was called like the Veterans Program to just sort of upskill them into automation technologies. It was sponsored by UiPath, and they had a few of us that are constant contributors to the community to go there and teach some classes on it. But yeah, LinkedIn, write to me. I'll be happy to talk about automation anytime.
Awesome. Andres, thank you so much for your time. We super appreciate it. This was very, very helpful. And to everyone else listening, be a bro and share this show. If you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At EXP, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Ali Garced, or Ali the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com.